Weather forecast.
2 local women were killed in a mass shooting in an upscale neighborhood in Los Angeles. We have the latest on the investigation.
And an update on plans to shelter migrants in Chicago's Woodlawn neighborhood. A lot going on. Here we go, Monday morning.
Live from Chicago's #1 news, ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 7 starts streaming now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Yeah, Laura, I've got the weekend feels going.
Yeah.
Up here. I just feel like
a little leftover weekend.
It does, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like my belly's spilling over the belt and all that good stuff.
You look good. Yeah. Trust me. I'll show you a belly over the belt.
But everybody did it this weekend with the games and staying up late and eating everything that you want. Anyway,
didn't it feel good, too?
It did feel good. Tired,
It feels good to be back at work today with Tracy and Roz. I guess we should check out the weather outside. Look at that, right? Pretty shot when you're indoors.
Exactly.
Looking outside. When you go outside, it's going to not feel so pretty.
Exactly. And of course, Saturday was a day to eat because it was just cold and snowy out. So, yeah, people hunkering down. Winter weather advisory. I don't want you to be surprised, but some areas, especially south of I-80 and along, are under this advisory for about another hour because you had some freezing drizzle and a little fresh coating of snow late last night. Well, right now, things have really dissipated as far as falling precipitation, but it's 11 at O'Hare, 13 at Midway, 16 right now in Gary, 10 in Aurora, and 16 right now in Kankakee, while it's 9 in Waukegan. Your wind chill up in Zion is 2 below 0. All around, we have a very cold setup for us here today and tomorrow. We'll talk more about it coming up. Roz?
Yeah, the travel times are averaging 35 minutes. I suspect a lot of folks who have the option to work at home are working at home, not dealing with those frigid temperatures or the icy roads. We've had several crashes because the bridges, the ramps are very slick this morning. There's one outbound or southbound on 55 near Weber Road. We also have this ongoing situation on the Bishop Ford, although it's not causing any delays. The crash is southbound at 130th. Chopper 7's over it. Multiple vehicles are involved. They've got everything off on the right shoulder, and we're really not even seeing a northbound Gapers delay any longer. But a couple of cars, that semi-tanker, and a pickup truck are all involved in this collision. So be careful if you need to drive through there, and always give emergency workers the right of way. Valentine.
All right, Roz, thank you. Now back to the bitter cold. If you are heading out and about today, it will be all about bundling up in layers.
Yep, Jessica D'Onofrio knows that well. Out talking to commuters at Union Station this morning, Jess.
We are seeing commuters arriving here in the city this morning, and they all seem very prepared for this weather. Take a look at this video from the city's northwest side at the Jefferson Park Transit Center. Just a preview of what you can expect when you commute this morning. Right now, temperatures are in the teens with wind chills in the single digits, and there's a layer of fresh snow on the ground. Meanwhile, I just spoke to one commuter getting on the train at Union Station. He says dressing in layers is key.
Make sure you cover your face and put your long johns on, about 3 layers of socks. It's pretty cold, but again, it's not that bad. I guess it could be expected. February is the worst month of the year. Just dress in layers, that's about all you can do.
This is video this morning of commuters on the Adams Street Bridge braving the cold. The city reminding people that if you need a warm place to go, warming centers are open when the temperatures are at 32 degrees or below. You can call 311 to find a city warming location near you. Bottom line, it's just one of those frigid days, so if you have to go outside today, be prepared. Back to you.
All right, Jess, thanks. Aurora is taking action to protect people from the cold. The city opened its overnight warming center last night. It's at the Aurora Transportation Center. It will stay open for 1 week from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
4 past the hour to Memphis, Tennessee now, and the latest on the Tyree Nichols case.
Calls are growing for new police reforms as the Nichols family prepares to lay him to rest. ABC's Justin Finch joins us live from Memphis with more. Justin.
Val Terrell, the family of Tyree Nichols, supporting the police's call here to disband the Scorpion Crime Task Force. They call it appropriate and proportional to Nichols' death. They're also now channeling their loss into renewed calls for police reform across the country.
Now permanently disbanding the Memphis Police Department Scorpion Unit. Short for a street crimes operation to restore peace in our neighborhoods, the unit formed in November 2021 to patrol high crime spots. 5 now fired officers from that unit now facing murder charges in Tyree Nichols' death, all expected in court for arraignment next month. The night of January 7th, officers stopping Nichols and pulling him out of his car. An officer later seen trying to taser the 29-year-old as he ran.
I didn't do anything.
Nichols later tackled and beaten, and responding officers appearing to take more than 20 minutes before attempting any aid.
I feel that everyone there should be charged from both scenes, the first one and the second. Everyone.
2 Memphis fire EMTs and 2 responding Shelby County Sheriff's deputies relieved of duty pending investigations. Experts say training standards for more than 18,000 U.S. police agencies are inconsistent and outdated. On Capitol Hill, party line divisions in new debates on police reform legislation.
Well, I don't know that there's any law that can stop that evil that we saw. That is just difficult to watch.
We need a national conversation about policing in a responsible, constitutional, and humane way.
As Justin Finch reporting, the Nichols family is getting ready for his funeral set for Wednesday. His parents have also accepted an invitation to go to the State of the Union next month.
3 women were killed in a mass shooting over the weekend in an upscale neighborhood in Los Angeles.
2 of the victims we now know are from the Chicago area. Diane Pathy was in the newsroom with what we know now. Diane.
Terrell and Val, LA County investigators still looking for suspects in that shooting. They say the shooting was targeted and took place at a home being used as a short-term luxury rental in the Beverly Crest neighborhood of Los Angeles. The LA County coroner confirms 29-year-old Nina Davis of Bolingbrook and 33-year-old Ayanna Hutton of Chicago were shot to death early yesterday morning. A third victim from Arizona also died. The 3 killed were found in a car outside the home. 4 other people were injured, 2 of them critically. Neighbors tell us it is very unusual for this area, but things have been changing.
They usually just rent it to people for the most amount of money possible, which is sad because you don't know your neighbors. And I still didn't feel unsafe but it's not the first time a cop has been called to a rental house, but this is next level.
Investigators say there was some type of party or gathering taking place at the time of the shooting. This is the 6th mass shooting in 13 days in California. Val, back to you.
All right, Diane, thank you. Well, the man charged with a deadly shooting outside a bar in Portage Park is expected to enter a plea this morning. Samuel Parsons Salas is accused of shooting and killing 3 people and critically wounding another. This started as a fight at Vera Lounge back on December 11th. The entire incident was caught on surveillance video.
It's been 10 years since Adia Pendleton was shot and killed at a park in Chicago's Kenwood neighborhood. The 15-year-old had performed with a majorette squad at President Obama's second inauguration just a week before her death. Her parents told us that time has not diminished their loss.
It really seems like it just happened yesterday. We had went to the cemetery this morning to visit Adia, and I still cry like it was the first day.
As the days continue to go on, it doesn't make it any less tragic.
There are plans to plant a garden in Adia Pendleton's honor at the future site of the Obama Presidential Center, which of course is under construction now, in Jackson Park. And Michelle Obama posted about Pendleton's murder in her tribute. She says she never got the chance to meet Adia, but learned of her impact while at her funeral.
In the aftermath of her death at her funeral, I met her family, I met her classmates, and I immediately understood the extraordinary power and potential that lay inside of this young woman.
Mrs. Obama says that her family is proud to honor Adia's legacy with the garden.
A new shelter for migrants in a vacant Woodlawn school could soon be open. The city says the former Wadsworth Elementary School building is ready to house 250 migrants, despite resistance from some neighbors. The shelter is part of the city's response to the massive influx of migrants from other states. The city says more than 5,100 migrants have arrived in Chicago from Texas and Colorado since August, with dozens more arriving each day. An exact move-in date for the Woodlawn shelter has not been posted.
Lunar New Year celebrations in Chicago's Chinatown neighborhood went off without a hitch this weekend. This is the first time that the parade was held since the start of the COVID pandemic. It's been a minute. Noticeably missing this year were fireworks. They were canceled following last week's mass shooting and a Lunar New Year celebration out in California. Security was increased at the parade to keep everybody safe.
There's so much negativity in the world, and it's always good to see some kind of positivity in this area, especially when we have a bunch of people coming out together celebrating one thing.
There's a great enthusiasm for the people here, and we need to unite around this community. This community has faced some challenges in the last year or so.
On Saturday, local leaders and community members held a candlelight vigil in Chinatown for the victims in California.
I'm so happy that the one here was peaceful and they could celebrate without any issues.
And it looked like it went off really well today.
Yeah.
A good time out there.
Yeah, well, your live and local news is just getting started as we stream out loud this morning. Coming up, when the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, is scheduled to meet with President Biden to address the U.S. debt ceiling.
First, Tracy's got your deep freeze forecast and looking at some of the coldest weather that we've seen so far this year. That's on the way next.
Hello there. Happy Monday, our last Monday of January 2023. Seems like this month went very, very quickly, to me anyway. All right, the snow has ended around the area. I did get additional snow during the overnight period. For some of you, you actually had some freezing drizzle much earlier this morning. Well, the sunshine will appear this afternoon. Temperatures this evening going to be dropping into the single digits. Current wind chills around the area are sub-zero in several spots. Now, tomorrow morning, this is the way it's going to feel for you. And just about all of us are at or even well below zero tomorrow with wind chills. So we have a really cold start to the day out there today. Winter weather advisory. The Weather Service still has this in effect till 8 o'clock this morning. They have had numerous reports of especially untreated and elevated surfaces being fairly icy. So that's why they're keeping it intact. Extends over into northwest Indiana. Right now we're at 11 degrees out at O'Hare. Wind chill is 3 below. Hey, that's the coldest temperature we have had so far this year. It will change. It's going to be colder. I think tomorrow will be a much colder day than today, especially in the morning. Wednesday, Thursday, we get a jump in the temperatures. Friday, we get a brief shot of colder air before we get a little bit more of a thaw coming our way here for the weekend. Roz?
Well, the travel times are holding at between 30 and 35 minutes heading inbound from the tri-state to downtown, which is not bad for a little bit after 7 o'clock in the morning. Here's the White Sox camera. We've had several crashes inbound on the Dan Ryan, and it is still moving very slowly, pretty much from 95th to the Skyway. It opens up a little bit, and then it's back on the brakes again from 47th, most of the way down to the Jane Byrne interchange. We have one suburban crash that's new in Oak Brook Terrace at Roosevelt and Summit. We are seeing some delays on Roosevelt, so please be careful in that area, but be careful in general because of a lot of the bridges are still very slick, even though salt crews have really been out and about this morning. Valentine.
All right, Roz, thank you. Well, there's been a new missile strike in the war in Ukraine. At least one person was killed Sunday night when a Russian missile hit an apartment building in Kharkiv. That is according to Ukrainian leaders. Ukrainian tank crews have arrived in the United Kingdom for training on the Challenger 2 battle tank. The UK government has said it would send 14 of the tanks to Ukraine, and the U.S., Germany, and other European allies are also sending tanks to Ukraine. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is completing a brief visit to Egypt. Blinken said human rights were a top item on the agenda in talks with Egypt's president and foreign minister during his visit to Cairo today. Next up, stops in Israel and the West Bank. There's been worsening violence between Israelis and Palestinians. Blinken has said the priority is to urge calm. Well, Pope Francis makes a renewed call for peace between Israelis and Palestinians, likening recent deadly violence in Jerusalem to a spiral of death. The pontiff appealed to Israelis, Palestinians, and the international community to find paths to peace that do not involve violence and to do so without delay. Francis made the comments while speaking in St. Peter's Square. Police in New Jersey are investigating an act of vandalism targeting a Jewish synagogue. Grainy surveillance images show a man with what investigators say is a Molotov cocktail, which he threw at the front door of a synagogue in the city of Bloomfield. The glass bottle broke, but there was no damage to the building. The man ran from the scene. The New Jersey Office of Homeland Security says it is monitoring this case. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Biden will meet on Wednesday. They'll discuss how to fix the U.S. debt ceiling issue. Biden will ask McCarthy if he intends to prevent a national default. According to White House spokesperson, Senate Republicans have already told the president they won't back a debt ceiling increase without equal spending reductions being imposed. Still to come this morning, applications for marijuana dispensary licenses will soon open up to the public, and impressive new plans for a West Side community thanks to a multi-million-dollar investment. That's all ahead.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break. Who's looking out for you?
Holding our leaders accountable.
Your safety, your family,
saving you money,
your finances, your rights. The ABC 7 I-Team, that's who.
The I-Team, helping you avoid rip-offs and scams.
Investigative reporters Chuck Gowdy, Jason Knowles, and Samantha Chapman. The ABC 7 I-Team, looking out for you.
See what we uncover next.
Only on ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
There is a hearing happening today on one of the legal challenges to Illinois' assault weapons ban. The McHenry County State's attorney filed a lawsuit arguing that the ban is unconstitutional. Patrick Keneally is asking a judge for an emergency temporary restraining order blocking the law from taking effect in McHenry County. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul says the state is prepared to defend the law in court.
Today, the Gurney Board of Trustees will meet to talk about a change in the way liquor is sold in the village. Under consideration is a move to allow gas stations and convenience stores to sell carry-out packaged liquor. Tonight's meeting starts at 7 o'clock.
People wanting to get into the cannabis business have a new chance to start today. The Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation is accepting applications for 55 more cannabis dispensary licenses. Those licenses will be distributed to regions all across the state.
Also today, mobility advocates will hold a town hall meeting calling on the city to clear snow from sidewalks. People with disabilities have complained for years about the challenges they face navigating snow-covered sidewalks during the winter. Tonight's meeting is at 5 o'clock at Access Living on West Chicago Avenue.
A Chicago community organization in West Garfield Park is celebrating a $10 million grant to help revitalize their neighborhood.
That's it. The development team of the Sankofa Wellness Project.
The project is being touted as the biggest redevelopment work in Garfield Park since 1968. The $10 million comes from the Pritzker Traubert Foundation. The development will include housing along with professional spaces for healthcare, fitness, daycare, and other community activities.
It's really, really nice. Yeah, we'll
The
see how that
renderings
whole
look
thing comes
fantastic.
together. Yeah. So we're going to link up with everybody that's watching Good Morning America right now. I'm going to have a news update on TV in just a bit. You'll see it right here, too.
And then when we come back, the Wisconsin Ice Castles will return to Lake Geneva when you can catch the impressive displays.
Plus, how young is too young for social media and why the United States Surgeon General believes 13 is too early to be all up on social media. We're going to talk about that at 7:30 this morning. Hang on. Good morning. Nice to have you back. Welcome.
Now, an update from ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
At 7:23, good morning, everybody. I'm Terrell Brown. We now know the names of 2 local women killed in a mass shooting over the weekend in Los Angeles. The LA County coroner confirms that 29-year-old Nina Davis of Bolingbrook and 33-year-old Ayanna Hutton of Chicago were shot to death early yesterday morning. A third victim from Arizona also died in that shooting. The 3 were found dead in a car outside of a home in the upscale Beverly Crest neighborhood. 4 others were hurt, 2 of them critically. Investigators say there was some type of party or get-together going on when the shooting happened, and it appears to be targeted. So far, no one is in custody. More on that as we get it in this morning. In the meantime, let's talk about weather. Tracy, it is cold out there today.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's by Chicago standards, we're not setting records. We've certainly had much colder. Thing is, we haven't had much of this all season long. Well, right now, 11 degrees is our current temperature out at O'Hare. It's 13 out at Midway. It is 16 degrees in Gary and 10 right now in Aurora. And some of these wind chills this morning are below 0. Now, not much of a recovery here this afternoon. Even though we will see some sun, it is still going to be a very cold day all around. And tomorrow will be even colder. We take a break, Roz, after this.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back, everybody. We are looking at 35 to 40-minute travel times. The Kennedy has that 40-minute travel time, and there it is. It is moving slow, but it's moving. We've had a lot of little crashes. We had several on the Dan Ryan. There's still one at 47th inbound on the shoulder. And traffic here at our White Sox camera, it is pretty slow right now. A couple of suburban issues to tell you about. This one is in Elgin. It's a pretty bad crash, US 20 and 31. And then we've got a crash in Glen Ellen at the intersection of Euclid and Linden. Be careful out there.
Welcome back, everybody. Time now 7:27. It is a cold morning out there. Tracy's been all over this cold weather and the forecast for us. We're going to have more coming up in just a bit. Following delays, Wisconsin's ice castles will open this weekend. A warmer than normal month melted most of the work in Lake Geneva. The ice castle was supposed to open this past weekend. Crews spent hours rebuilding the lakeside ice architecture.
Seeing like this castle just like coming to life, you know, it just having that determination, especially the morale gets kind of low at points when you see like the ice castle get so big and then it drops down, and it's just that drive to like, we're gonna get this thing done.
Staff says anyone who bought tickets for last weekend can't get their money back. Ice castles will be up through the end of February as long as the weather allows. But that's the thing in the forecast, that we have a little bit of a thaw this weekend.
Which I'm really excited about.
Right, but they are.
Yeah, not good news for them. Boy, it's going to take a lot of work in the cold.
Right,
to
to get it up and down.
All right, coming up this morning, so we'll get you caught up on what's going on this morning, your top stories, including weather and traffic. We'll check in with Tracy and Roz.
And then how much will you spend on your sweetie this Valentine's Day? Well, we're going to tell you what the experts are projecting.
Plus, Damar Hamlin's thank you message to first responders and fans. That's right after the break.
You're watching ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
Now at 7:30, taking a look at the morning's top stories. We now know the names of 2 local women killed in a mass shooting over the weekend in Los Angeles. They have been identified as 29-year-old Nina Davis of Bolingbrook and 33-year-old Iyanna Hutton of Chicago. A third victim from Arizona also died in that shooting. This happened in the upscale Beverly Crest neighborhood. 4 others were injured, 2 of them critically. So far, no one is in custody.
It's a hearing over the assault weapons ban in Illinois today. This time, the legal fight involves McHenry County. The McHenry County state's attorney filed a lawsuit arguing that the ban is unconstitutional.
And a new shelter for migrants in a vacant CPS school in Woodlawn could soon be open. We'll have more on that coming up. Well, good morning and welcome back. I'm Val Warner.
And so good to be with you this morning. I'm Terrell Brown. Let's go outside, see how things are looking right now. And there it is. You got the clouds, you got the cold, Chicago in the winter, let me tell you. If we can just get through this week, well, no. Actually, this weekend, we got some warm days coming up, warm-ish days coming up, Tracy.
Yeah, we do. We have some mild ones. We have probably 3 days where we have to suffer and just plow through. Not a lot of snow, but the cold. Meanwhile, I do still want to make mention of this winter weather advisory. Weather Service is keeping it intact for another half hour over northwest Indiana and primarily areas south of I-80. We had some light snow earlier this morning, but some of you in those advisory areas had freezing drizzle last night too. 11 degrees, double ones there at O'Hare, 18 Valparaiso, 10 in Aurora. And here we go. Those wind chills are below 0. Feels like it's 7 below McHenry, 9 below Lake Geneva, 1 below out at Midway, 6 on the plus side in Whiting. Tomorrow will feel much colder. How are folks going to feel about the traffic situation, Roz?
I think they're going to stay home because we're not seeing a whole lot going on out there. Good morning, everybody. We are seeing 35 to 40-minute travel times on the interior expressways between the tri-state and downtown. But I don't have any new crashes to tell you about. The Kennedy is very heavy. We had a crash on the outbound side a little earlier at Sayre. That's been cleared. This is the North Avenue curve, and it is really snug once you approach downtown. Dan Ryan, we've had several crashes. They just cleared the one at 47th, so you can see the bridge from 35th on in. Very, very tight right now. And our Rosemont camera, the tollways have been really calm right now. I-90 at Devon looks good. Take a look at this tollway camera. This is the Tri-State at the 290. And we normally see heavy traffic northbound there at the 290 ramps. Not this morning. It's flowing very well. Val and Terrell.
All right, Roz, thanks. Now to today's talkers. Damar Hamlin is talking publicly for the first time since suffering cardiac arrest on the field in that Monday night football game earlier this month.
Really scary. The Buffalo Bills safety thanked first responders for saving his life, and he thanked all of his fans for their support. Here's ABC's Phil Lipoff with Hamlin's inspiring words.
In a thank you message posted on his Instagram account, Damar Hamlin breaking his silence for the first time since collapsing on the field.
Now that my brothers have closed out a strong winning season, as I continue to make so much progress recovering, I think it's finally a good time to share a few things.
In the nearly 6-minute video, the Bills' safety says it was important to wait to speak publicly as his injury was a lot to process. The NFL canceled the game following the incident, but the Bills returned to the field the week after with a touchdown on the opening kickoff.
What happened to me on Monday Night Football, I feel is a direct example of God using me as a vessel to share my passion and my love directly from my heart with the entire world.
The footage shot at the team's facility in Orchard Park, New York. Hamlin thanking the medical staff that helped save his life, even giving a shout out to the Bills Mafia, a movement created by the fans and embraced by the players.
This is just the beginning of the impact that I wanted to have on the world. And with God's guidance, I will continue to do wonderful and great things. I couldn't do this without any of the support and the love, and I can't wait to continue to take y'all on this journey with me.
Hamlin is recovering at home. Doctors confident his condition will improve. So are his teammates.
It's a blessing, you know. Like that just shows the type of kid that he is, that he's fought and he's continuing to win.
Phil Lipoff, ABC News, New York.
Welcoming in Roz and Tracy. When I watched this video yesterday, of course, I cry. But the one thing that he said that made me cry.
What's that?
He thanked everybody, but he said, of course, I'm my mom and dad. He said, my little brother.
Yeah.
I thought that, I don't know why that touched me in such a way. It was so sweet, like, because I remember the night of, remember his uncle or the day after maybe saying how his little brother cried.
Yeah, I
and
do
just
remember that.
seeing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So that, you know, obviously it just goes to show you that they have a really, despite the age difference, they have a really close relationship.
Yeah.
So when he said that, I go, I did the ugly cry.
Well, you know, the other thing about
used to it.
that, apparently he went to a school, Central Catholic in the Pittsburgh area, and he had a lot of opportunities to go to many colleges, and he said he wanted to stay in Pittsburgh because of his little brother. So he did go to the University of Pittsburgh. So he's very well known, certainly in that area, and certainly for his generosity helping out a center in the McKeesport, I think, or McKees Rocks area, where they, of course, have had so many toys donated because of him.
Right. And just to think, when he started that organization, before he became pro, he only wanted to raise $2,500. That was his goal.
$2,500.
Yeah,
right.
Now what is it at now? Like 6 or 7?
9 million.
9 million.
And it took him nearly 2 years just to get to that 2,500
mark, right.
Now,
Bless his heart.
Yep.
Yes, bless his
We
heart.
say it all the time. The Lord works in mysterious ways.
He does.
And that,
Woo,
that certainly
won't he do
is.
it?
Good for him, though. Glad he's. I hadn't even seen. We've seen him, but I hadn't heard from him.
Right.
So it's nice to actually see him and to see him smile and hear his voice. It's really great. I want to get to how much Americans are going to spend this Valentine's Day. Americans are planning to spend $25.9 billion. And that's just Val's husband alone on that for Valentine's Day this year.
$25.
This is an annual survey from the National Retail Federation. The new prediction is up from $2 billion last year. Marks the second highest year for spending since National Retail Federation began tracking back in 2004. Lots changed over the years, but classics like chocolates still look to be the top trend always. The candy and greeting cards leading up the rankings for what consumers will purchase for the big holiday.
Like, so what is that on average per person? Like,
it's like 150 something per person is what I thought.
Especially if you're getting roses.
Well,
the roses. Pricey.
Right?
Yeah, the roses.
But do you all expect Valentine's Day?
I was just getting asked, do we even want it? Do you guys even want it?
Well, I expect somebody to cook dinner for me. I don't want to be the
save
one
your flowers.
cooking. Yeah,
right.
exactly. Seriously, save the flowers. Just make dinner.
Yep.
You know, I remember when I was broadcasting from home, and I came downstairs to my little kitchen studio, and there were these roses.
Aw,
and
see?
So sweet.
It still gives you the warm fuzzies, huh?
It was nice.
But do you want Glenn to spend $200 on them or the jewel roses?
You know, the jewel roses at $9.99 are just fine.
I say that all the time because I think men think that they have to spend all this money for it to make an impact. If you go to Jewel, Mariano's, any one of those, and any given day when they put out that fresh batch, you can get some roses for maybe on sale $99.99.
Sure. You know, at Jewel, they have like little dates on the roses. Right? Yes. So you can look and say, oh, okay, yeah.
Get this one.
Yeah, this just came in, right?
I'm like thinking I'm only
no.
Check all the dates. I love it. All right, well, we turn now to kids and the danger of social media.
Yeah, there's a new poll out there that finds the issue that worries parents the most about their kids is their mental health.
And now the nation's top doctor is addressing this issue, suggesting tougher age restrictions.
So ABC's Derek Dennis has more for us this morning, now at 7.
This morning, the U.S. Surgeon General taking a stand against kids on social media, saying 13 is still too young.
I personally, based on the data I've seen, believe that 13 is too early. And I think that it's a time, early adolescence, where kids are developing their identity, their sense of self.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel says research shows the Surgeon General is right.
Those brains are still developing, and we have enough research to show that constant social media scrolling can actually affect brain chemistry in these young kids. There's plenty of research to suggest that social media, especially social media addiction, can have a negative impact on teens' mental health, increasing risk of conditions such as anxiety, depression, body dysmorphia, disrupting sleep, schoolwork. Teens are even exposed to misinformation, hate speech, cyberbullying, and predators out there who want to manipulate teens and get their identity and their privacy.
This teen told us images she saw on social media left her feeling inadequate.
It's just so stressful to pick one picture that has to be perfect.
When it comes to age, most of the popular social media apps are ages 12 and up. Only Twitter has a 17 and older requirement. Industry executives point out social media's benefits.
The research that we've seen is that using social apps to connect with other people can have positive mental health benefits.
But many experts and parents insist restraints are needed.
I simply do not think we have the ability to keep every teen out there from getting on a device and lying about their age. But I think it's important that we have a transparent, necessary conversation about the risks, not only from a public health perspective, but from the companies themselves.
Even in China, where TikTok was developed, there's an age and time restriction on the Chinese version. Those under 14 can only access it on youth mode and for just 40 minutes a day. Advocates want similar controls here in the U.S. Derek Dennis, ABC News, New York.
Oh, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
Agreed.
See, the thing, I don't have kids, so I mean, I know what I experienced just as an adult on social media. But I mean, what? So Max and Zoe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're both on now.
They are, but yeah, I do. I feel like 13 is young. They probably were when I think about it in hindsight, which may not have been the best decision parenting wise, you know, in full transparency.
Well, but you learn as you go.
Right.
Yeah, that's
right.
It's the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like anybody knows the rules of social media, and it's changing.
Exactly, and you don't know. So I guess if I had it to do all over again, I'd say high school.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, Sarah, when she was 13, we didn't have Facebook and Twitter and all that yet. So it just kind of came afterwards.
Yeah.
And I slowly watched this integrate, but she was older.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to gauge. But I agree with you. I think 13 is too young.
Yeah.
Oh, I think college. Wait.
21.
Yes.
Right.
Seriously, there's just so much going on in junior high school and then high school when they should be focusing on other things, having fun.
Going outside, right?
Getting off a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much screen. Technology break. That's what we call it in the house. Technology break.
And we need it.
Yeah.
Speaking of a break, we'll take one.
Well, don't take one right now.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
From this show. Take one at 8 a.m.
We'll see you in 90 seconds.
Good morning to you. Watching a little kind of stripe of some flurries developing up across some of our far west and northern suburbs this morning. If you're around Highland Park, you may be seeing a few of those. Or right now, 9 degrees Waukegan, 16 Gary, 18 Valparaiso, 10 in LaSalle, 8 in DeKalb. But if you have to wait outside for the bus or the train, plan on these wind chills this morning that are below zero. Feels like it's 7 below right now in McHenry and Hampshire, 6 below St. Charles, 9 below in Lake Geneva, 7 above the wind chill in Maryville. Today, all around, just a very cold day, despite the fact that we will see a little bit of sun. Now, tomorrow is going to be even colder. I think it's a colder start to the day. I think probably all of us start off the day tomorrow with wind chills that will be below zero. And high temperatures tomorrow, yeah, not that great. But we'll get up to 30 here Wednesday. Roz?
Travel times are on the high side now, 45 to 50 minutes. But you'll notice we really don't have too many delays on the expressways. 355, 88, Tri-State, they all look pretty good right now. We have a couple of suburban crashes. This one is new in North Chicago. It's on eastbound Route 137, just before US 41. And then this crash in Elgin, it's a pretty bad one, a serious injury crash at US 20 and 31. You can see the delays. It involves an overturned vehicle. In fact, Chopper 7 is over it, and they are diverting the traffic. So it is causing quite the delay there. So they're taking all the westbound traffic off of US 20 at Route 25 and diverting it that way. It really, you can see the bridge there. It's frosty. This is what we talk about with these frigid temperatures. You've got to be careful on the bridges, the ramps, the overpasses, and that's what we're dealing with right now. Slick conditions that you really don't see until it's too late. So please be very, very careful out there. Val and Terrell, back to you.
Oh, yeah, Roz, Terrell and I are looking at this shot. You can just tell that the road is bad. If you really look at it, you see that sheen. Yeah, it's deceiving.
And that's the scary part. Sometimes you really don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah. So like you said, Roz, taking it easy this morning. When we come back, and still streaming this morning, Spice Girl, Spice World, celebrating a big anniversary. That's coming up in 90 seconds.
Wow, I remember this video.
Yeah.
Welcome back now to what's buzzing in Hollywood.
Yeah, ABC's Jason Nathanson is diving deep into what's going on in Hollywood this morning. Jason?
The Avatar sequel took down Star Wars at the box office over the weekend. Avatar: The Way of Water slid into the 4th all-time spot at the worldwide box office, passing Star Wars: The Force Awakens' $2.071 billion haul. It'll need another $100 million or so to get to the 3rd spot, currently occupied by Titanic. And that means James Cameron has now directed 3 of the top 4 highest-grossing films: the original Avatar at number 1, Titanic in 3rd, and now Avatar 2 in 4th. Second place, by the way, belongs to Avengers: Endgame.
I see you.
Avatar: The Way of Water also topped the box office again this past weekend. No new films cracked the top 3. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish finishing 2nd. Tom Hanks' A Man Called Otto in 3rd.
Many mysterious deaths happened in this building.
New to watch today, The Watchful Eye, a mysterious thriller set in a New York apartment building where everyone seems to have suspicious motives. That's on Freeform. And Oscar-winning actor Christian Bale with a birthday today. He's 49, while Grammy-winning rapper Kid Cudi is 39. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to have more when we come back in 90 seconds.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
Well, if you want to be feeling old, get ready for this.
25 years ago, Spice World came out in American theaters. Joining us now to spice up our lives with a look back is Will Gans.
Calling all people of the world. It's the film that gave fans of the Spice Girls, well, Spice World. Less of a movie and more of a moment in pop culture history.
It's a perfect kind of time capsule of the late 90s, of pop music in the late 90s, of sort of the phenomena of how pop worked at that time. And the Spice Girls did that and had that moment and were able to create this really fun sort of 90s fluffy, campy film.
That double-decker bus racing across London with Ginger, Baby, Sporty, Scary, and Posh in the driver's seat.
Fasten your seatbelts.
A film somewhat of a fever dream. One critic writing, "What's the plot, you may be asking? Well, so am I." And Roger Ebert giving Spice World a half-star review.
So the goal for Spice World was never to win an Oscar. What was the goal for the team here?
I mean, the goal is to, have a movie that all the millions, billions of fans are going to watch and stick with them forever. And it's such like a perfect way of putting it because we were living in Spice World.
And so many of us still are, a quarter of a century later.
If you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friends. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
I wanna,
People of the world.
spice up your life.
Every boy and every girl.
Spice up your life. I was obsessed with that for a very long time. Absolutely, I have it on VHS.
Do you have a VHS player though?
Absolutely, at my mama's house. The fashion is like iconic, and it's also like coming back. So if you like want some inspiration, just go back and watch the Spice Girls and get some tips.
Posh fashion, scary good vocals, and a message that resonates 25 years later.
Girl power.
Girl power. They were each so different and had their own identity. Yeah. I think that was a great thing for people, especially women.
It just shows you that women can do anything. Yeah. We put our mind to it, we work towards it, we work hard, we can really achieve what we really want to achieve.
Girl power! Girl power!
Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
It really was a moment.
It was.
Right? I mean, we were sitting here singing the songs too.
We were.
Yeah.
I remember Janet Davies when they came here.
Oh, they were here?
They came here?
The Spice Girls, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wait, I'm like in this building?
No,
in Chicago.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
To Chicago. And I just remember Janet Davies having to cover it. She's like, this is going to be insane.
And I'm sure it was.
Oh, yes.
Sure it was. I wish we could see them all now.
Yeah.
Where they are
now.
all
25
now.
years later.
We know where some of them are.
We do that. That is for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's going to do it for us. Boy, that was a quick Monday morning show.
Yeah, it was.
Having so much fun that time flew on by. But you know what? We'll do it again tomorrow. For Tracy and Roz, I'm Terrell Brown.
And I'm Val Warner. Thanks for watching Eyewitness News at 7 a.m.
All right, so look, I'm going to have a news update. Tracy and Roz will have weather and traffic, of course, all during Good Morning America. You're going to hear from them in just a moment. From everyone here at ABC 7, have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here again tomorrow, 7 a.m.
This has been Eyewitness News, streaming at 7.
Good morning.
Rise and shine.
Sleepyhead.
Yes. That's
exciting.
what America wants.
Woo! Rise and shine with daytime's #1 talk show.
Every weekday morning.
We're live.
Go live.
We're live.
Go live.
Live with Kelly and Ryan, weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
ABC 7 News is now streaming live and local 24/7.
Now get more newscasts, breaking news, weather, and more of the stories that matter to you.
Anytime on any screen, big or small.
The same Eyewitness News team you know and trust is expanding to bring you even more live and local coverage around the clock.
Live in Gary.
Live at City Hall. Live in Bourbonnais.
Watch our new ABC 7 Chicago 24/7 channel, now wherever you stream.
Now, an update from ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning, everybody. 7:56. I'm Terrell Brown. A hearing is set for today on one of the many legal challenges to Illinois' new assault weapons ban. The McHenry County State's attorney filed a lawsuit arguing that the ban is unconstitutional. Patrick Keneally is asking a judge for an emergency temporary restraining order blocking the law from taking effect in McHenry County. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul says the state is prepared to defend the law in court. Hang on, we'll check weather and traffic coming up next.
Good morning. 11 degrees. That's our temperature right now at O'Hare. Coldest temperature we have officially had this year so far. I emphasize that. 12 right now at Midway, 14 Joliet, 9 degrees right now in Waukegan. Take a peek at the wind chills. Feels like it's 6 in Whiting, 7 Maryville, 2 Plainfield, 1 below right now in Morris, 5 below in Zion. Today, not going to get warm. Temperatures just kind of bobbing around those low teens this afternoon, despite the look at some sun. And tomorrow is going to be an even colder day. Roz?
PA delay. This is going to be on the orange line for loop-bound trains because of a train with a mechanical problem a little bit earlier at the Pulaski station. If you're driving in, well, most of the congestion is contained to the expressways. The tollways are doing really well this morning, but these travel times are anywhere from 45 to 55 minutes. Now, they cleared up the crash in Elgin at US 20 and 31, and the delays have cleared up as well, so that's good news. But here's the Kennedy, right around that North Avenue curve. Most of the delays are inbound. Same thing on the Ryan. It's slow. The White Sox camera, it's slow all the way into the JBI.